Everybody. I wanted to give you another lesson inside of Dashboard, inside of the Power Lead Systems blog called the Power Blog, which you can get to from the Promote button to this Power Blog right here. So I'm inside my dashboard. All I have to do is click this link right here, and then that puts me inside of Dashboard. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about the appearance of your blog. And why I have chosen the theme they call it Divi, D-I-V-I. Divi is kind of a special one that allows you to do something kind of different. Now, when you go to your regular posts, and for most of you, if you've not applied Divi, when you go in and create a new post, I'm just going to do one just so that you can see what I'm talking about, then you have only one option, and that is the WordPress, their default editor. And their editor is okay, but it's not great because it doesn't give you a lot of options on how to format your content so that it flows a certain way. For instance, if you wanted a picture and then some text, you would not have the option to do that because it would not allow that kind of flow inside of WordPress. It's very squirrely, actually, the default WordPress editor. Now, there are some advantages. I showed you yesterday how you can actually create your side buttons. You can just do it with an image and a link, and that way you create what something that actually takes somebody over to a capture page. And you can do that as much as you want to, and it's really helpful. That's one thing I wanted to share with you. But because I have the Divi Builder theme, then that gives me some special options. And I'm going to pretend I don't have anything in here, and I'm going to show you what I can do with this. Now, it starts out pretty generic, just with one column, one what they call a module, and I've created all kinds of what I call a library. You can create ahead of time a setup that you want, and then you just use that same setup all the time and just change out the content. For instance, if I want one that has a video, I would just have somewhere in here there would be a place for code, which is how you actually take the embed code and put it in here. And one thing that's cool about that is that when you do it in the default editor, it does not size the video to fit nicely inside of the whole thing. But if you have where you let it just size to what you want, whether it's a YouTube or somewhere else, you can just put it in here. So for instance, if I wanted to put a video in here, and as you can see, you can choose all kinds of layouts. I would choose a full one for a video, obviously. But if, like I talked also about, what if I wanted a picture and text as my first piece that I would do that, then I could choose this one, and it actually creates where you actually have all these different possibilities here of things you can do. And you can also, of course, change that if you want to. You can come over here to this one right here. It says change structure, and that takes you back in here, and you can change it as many times as you need to. And then you can actually copy and paste. You can do all kinds of things that make it really easy and fast. For instance, if you wanted 2 rows of this, you would simply clone that, and that would give you 2 rows of the same thing. Say you wanted a picture, text, text, picture, which is a common way to lay out an article so that it's pleasing to the eye and easy to read. You can do that. If you want a new row, you simply just add a standard section, and it will add one more row, and you can put a new row under here, as you can see. So if I wanted this next one to be a video, I would create a code first, and then let's say I'm going to just grab anything for the purpose of of getting it, I could just copy. It doesn't let you do it from there. You have to actually open it first. But open the video. You don't even have to play it if you know what it's going to be. And then you simply go
Hey guys, I wanted to take a minute and thank.
and then get the share code. You can go and get the embed code in YouTube. And one thing I like to do, this is if you don't have your own content. You can do this in anybody's content. And then you would just copy this, do a Control C that copies that, and then come back to where I am working. Sorry, I've got a lot of tabs open. And see, there's the code. And then you would simply just save that in there. And then once you save it, you've now got a piece of content. Now let's just save this as a something that you can do. And actually, I didn't put a title on here, so it's going to not allow me to put this in here. So I'm going to make sure I have a title first, and then test to show. I'll just do that as a title, and I can edit this or throw this out for later, but this is just for the purpose of showing you how you can actually kind of create all kinds of different layouts with your content, which the default editor in WordPress just doesn't allow you to do these things. So let's go and preview what that looks like with that video in there. And of course, I don't have a picture, I don't have any text, I just have that video. So those modules that I showed you, those are going to show up as blank because there's nothing inside. But here is that video I just grabbed, and look at how it nicely sets it up as a centered video in my space without my having to worry about where or trying to center it or anything. It just does it automatically. So you have options of doing all sorts of things. Now, of course, we have this picture. So say I want to do a picture here, so I just go and do image. Now that allows you to put an image there. And let me just grab something I already have. Let's say I'd use this image, which I showed you yesterday is a plug. And then I'm just going to make this a piece of text. And all you have to do is, each one of these modules, you have to come back down here and actually get a hold of the different types of things that this could be. So now this is open to become text. And I'm just putting a little bit of junk there just so that you can see what it's going to look like. Because this is just showing you how you can do your layout, not doing a serious actual blog yet. But now this will actually show up when I go to look at it. So I'm going to open that again. See how now I have an actual picture and that text as part of my blog post. And if I had put the same thing over here, I'd get the same thing again. And then of course this here. So you have all kinds of interesting options with the Divi theme. That's why I chose that, and I have that on 2 of my blogs on purpose because of the fact that I want to have the option of creating whatever I want, and I can have any of my pages or my blogs, and they can change depending on what my needs are for that particular post. If I have a lot of text, a nice way to break it up is in 2 parts like this with a picture, and say this would be a real blog post here. I would just make it the length of this picture so that it would fill that space. And if I went back to this one here, say now I wanted the same thing again, I could actually delete this. And then say I wanted this again, but I'm going to switch them. So now I'm going to move this over here. And I'm going to move this over here. Now let's see what happens with that. Make sure you always save though, because then your changes don't show up if you don't save. So I'm now going to look at that again, and as you're going to see, it's going to show, like I talked about, that photo, the same one I used, it's going to show up twice because I used the same thing. But look at how it goes in catty-cornered from the first one with the same text. Now, if this was real blog post, obviously it would have real text in here, but you can do all kinds of things to make this more interesting. And then it'd be probably a good idea to have another little piece of text here. You simply would do that by adding on, say I want to add, I'm going to clone this, but then here's a cool trick I can teach you. Whenever you want a row in front of something, you can clone it first, and then let's go make this into text. So now I have an open space that can become text. Make sure we save. So now we have an image and text, text and image, and text again, and our video. So see how you can actually create a really media-rich type of post that will be very interesting to people. They're very likely to like it because it gives them the opportunity to see something. And then the very last thing you want to do in any blog post is you want to have a signature at the bottom. So I'm going to do another, what I showed you before. I'm going to do another clone simply because I want that another row, and then I'm going to make this one into a text again, and I'm going to do a sign off. And this, one of the things that I often do with my sign off is, if you like this, please share, and then my name. And it'd be a good idea that this is a larger text, so I'm going to make this into a heading 3, and I'm also going to make it centered. So I'm going to save that. So you want some sort of a sign off. You also should have a call to action. So we need a call to action on the bottom of this. So let's clone again. But this time I'm going to leave the text in there, but I'm going to change the text. Okay, I'm going to say check out my offers at the side of this blog. Okay, so now this is my call to action. Or you could say, if you would like a blog like this, click this. And then I want to actually, I need to go to, where's my page? Here it is. I want them to actually go to one of my capture pages. So I'm going to make that click this part be a link. And make sure that it is in a new page, in a new, goes to a new window or a new tab, so that it does not take them out of your blog, because you want them to stay there as long as possible. I want that to be bold, and I want that to be centered. Okay, well, let's see what happens with all of that I have added into this post. Now, I haven't published this yet. I purposely put this in a save draft because I want to make sure I'm happy with it before I'm going to publish it. In this case, I'm not going to actually publish this because I don't have real content in there. I just have kind of test content that I want to share with you on how to create a blog post with the Divi. Now we have image, text, text, image, text, video, and we have a sign off, and we have a call to action. Those are the main elements that you need inside your blog. Whether you lay it out differently or not doesn't matter. Now, you may not want it to look like this. You may want just a great big image here and then text. You can do that too. You simply make a decision how you want it to look. Sorry about that. I got a tickle. And then you can recreate it any way you want with these different parts. You can take off something if you want it to be that way. You can add. So I'm going to take these out, and I'm going to alter this and make it a full one. So now I want that to be a full-sized image. So I'm going to make that an image. And then I'm going to go to what's already in my library so that I have something that is real that I've already uploaded. And then I have that. I'm going to save that. Now let's say that is what we want it to look like. I'm going to save it again. You really have, play with this, you really have so many different kinds of options. It's kind of fun how many different ways that you can use this. So now I have one image. It doesn't really fill the space, but you can find out what the space is that you need in here. And then you can go from there. So now I have a full-sized image, and I'll teach how to do that pop-up sometime later. Now I have a full-sized image. I have an image and some text, some more text, and a video. I have my sign-off, and I have my call to action. So that is a very good format for a finished blog. Obviously, you want real content, but you don't have to have a huge amount of content. For instance, if you found a video of something you really wanted to share, and then you put a photo up kind of referring to that, and then a little review of what you thought that video did for you at the top here where it shows the two, and maybe just on the bottom here, this part here could say watch the video. And that's all you would really have to do. You don't have to have a huge amount of content. In fact, people these days, if you think about it, most of them are reviewing much of their content by their cell phone. So if you know that, you want to make your blog something that's easy to consume. Let me explain what I mean by that. You don't want huge bodies of text. People are not going to read huge bodies of text. I used to belong to a share blog group, and I found it actually sort of painful when I had to actually visit somebody's blog because they were on my list and I had to help them get their blog out there when it was like a book. It was so much text. People want something that's fast and easy to consume. So you want to give them an interesting and eye-catching title. Of course, this is not a good title. I wouldn't suggest using that, but that was just something to allow it to publish enough that you could see it. And then you want to actually do something that gets their attention, and then you want to go ahead and give them a little, maybe if you're going to use a video as your main content, you want to give them a little overview of what it is about. Another thing you can do after the video is to give them a little summary of what was in the video. And then you're doing it very, very short pieces of text and a video and a photo. That makes it easy to consume. Don't give them large amounts of text. They will not consume that. They will fly over that real fast because you got to remember their screen is only, a lot of them are only like 8 by 5 or something really small like that. Pretty small. It's smaller than a tablet. Most of the time they're on their cell phone. So if you think about, here's my cell phone, and if you think about the size of this screen, what is this, 3 or 4 inches across and 5 or 6 down? That's a fairly small amount of space. But if you give them something that they can consume easily, people like listening to video. So you just give them a really good thing that they can watch in the way of a video. It doesn't have to be yours. You can share other people's video, and then you can just share your thoughts on why you shared that video and what you got from it and why you wanted them to see it. And that's all you really have to do when it comes to their blog. Let's make this easy. Let's make it fun so that people really do want to visit your blog, because your real objective is these side widgets over here that you want them to visit. You want them to go and find out more about Power Lead System or whatever offer you have. I hope this has been helpful. This is a lesson about the blog. I'll probably be doing a lot because I like this blog, and I have blogged since 2009. So I really love blogging. It's one of my main ways that I get leads every day, and I want to share how you can get started as fast as possible too. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye for now.